Hi and welcome back to my greenhouse. I thought I'd do a bit of a spring update, how things are getting on. I did actually do an earlier video, but I never actually got around to posting it in the end. So this one is rather going to supersede that one. So it's sort of early April here in the UK, and things in the greenhouse are beginning to actually come out of dormancy and starting to look really nice for the new year. So just having a look at the Sarracenias. Here's some of my old ones. As you can see here, we've got an absolute plethora of flower spikes coming up. This one is just loaded with them. That's just one of my old sort of Mori style crosses. Got a whole lot of other ones here. They've not all been successful. We've got a few that, this one just down here, has actually been caught by the frost. We had some warm days, and then we've had a couple of quite cold nights on occasions, and a number of the actual flowers have been slightly frosted, and a couple of the early shoots from some of the pictures that have started to come up have actually also got a little bit frosted and have blackened, and unfortunately they will die back. But it should sprout out some new some, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. So as you can see, we just I see you've got a load of pictures here. Now I have been doing a bit of tidying up of these, so I've been trimming a lot of them back. There's a few which I need to trim a little bit more back of now. So I've just been trying to, as they come out of winter dormancy, just make sure that they are healthy. I've been doing quite a bit of divisions, so I'll show you some of the divisions in a moment. But just, checking that the rhizomes haven't got mould or anything like that, because that's one of the sort of things that can be a bit of a problem for these over the winter, or as we start to come out of the damp sort of period, especially if things like flower petals or other debris has dropped into the pots onto the actual rhizome, and it's sort of been festering and rotting over the winter, and it can actually start to cause botrytis to get into the rhizome. You can usually cure it by cutting that section of the rhizome out back to fresh rhizome, and it'll generally recover. But now is a good time to start checking that you haven't got any sort of problems like that. It's probably also a good time now to also check that you haven't started to get infestations of things like greenfly. Those things can be a bit of a pain. In fact, I've actually found a few on some of my Banatatiform sundews, right on the growth that's starting to come out. So like I say, here's all the Sarracenas. There's some of my nice ones, like my Luco Red Tube. I've been splitting her. My lovely Purpurea. She's looking absolutely beautiful in her sort of second year foliage there. It's developed a really deep red, even on the inside. Though the earlier ones, the younger ones do tend to be a bit more green on the inside. I do like this one because she's really quite fairy on the inside of the leaves as well. There's my little Citacina. A whole load of the seedlings I grew that I've gradually potted up. Some of these look really promising with some beautiful colouring. They don't look much now, but as soon as they start to grow their new traps and actual leaves, it should look really nice. Got a whole bunch of Orophelias here, and they're starting to put out their flowers, but also their new growth. Orophelia tends to be one of the ones that's fairly early in bringing actually the traps up. Most of them bring their flower stalks up first, actually get through flowering, and then start to bring up the new growth, presumably in an attempt not to actually eat the insects that are going to pollinate them. So again, some of my big Moris back there. There's a tray back there, which that was one Kimber Red Ruffles, and now I think it is 8 Kimber Red Ruffles. That one was really badly pot bound, to actually the point where some of the roots really had started to rot off. It should survive. They are pretty hardy things. As you can see here, There's little bits of rhizomes here. So this is all my leucophillas that was probably growing under the surface, but you know, it's going to start shooting out, no problem at all. I think you can see on this one here, little red nodules there are going to be new growth coming out of that one, which is really nice. Again, here's my big pot of Orophilia. My rubra's looking quite nice. Rubra actually does, it's almost a bit like Purpurea, in that actually she maintains some really nice foliage all the way through the winter, and a nice sort of colouring on that. So I really do like rubra as a plant actually, because it's got some lovely veining and stuff. So my Mori's back there. Again, another tray of seedlings I've grown on. Some doing really well. I mean, this one's putting up a beautiful, nice green trap there. I think that was a Catespii type cross. And again, some of my other ones, Flavolata Redlid. What else we got? We've got Alata. I've got so many Alatas at the moment. And some more Flavolata Redlids. I mean, that one in there says it's number 17. It just shows how many I've actually split off the several plants I've got. So here's, like I say, a tray of ones I've been splitting. So when they get to a point where they're really starting to crowd out in the pot, this one here, I mean, Rubra could do with being split. She's getting a little bit too pot bound here. You can then actually carefully take a knife, cut through the rhizome at a useful place, and then I sort of gradually pick my way through the roots to try and tease them apart without breaking too many. You're always going to lose a few roots, but these things are pretty robust. And like I say, even these shoots that some of these got so pot bound, they were actually going under the compost. So these very white ones here, I think that's my Mori. These were actually shoots growing underneath the surface, and that one back there didn't really have many roots in the way, anything in the way of roots on them. But stick them in the pot, and you'll be surprised how well these things actually do survive. So those are mostly things like Leuco Red Tube, Atropurpurea. I've got some of my Mori Joanna Bullock in there, which is a really nice one. If you want to see that, check out some of my videos actually from when they were in flower during the summer. Here at the front there's a whole load of Alatas. Like I say, Alata does seem to be a really vigorous growing one, and I've got so many of those. I mean, I've got, like I say, loads of rubras. These are all split rubras. There again, as you can see how nicely she maintains the sort of the veining and the actual traps. But this whole tray at the back is basically rubras. So that's really quite nice. And they, again, are putting loads of flowers up. I've also been doing a bit of splitting on my Cobra Lilies. So I had a whole tray of Cobra Lilies. So I've been gently teased this one out of the pot and doing a bit of splitting on that one. And now I've got, I think about 3 or 4, well, actually maybe 4 or 5 of them now that I've taken off other ones. So these are really nice, good strong plants here. And again, this is their second year sort of foliage. It's really starting to darken down, which is really nice. And actually the one was so pot bound, it had been spiraling its the root round and round and round the pot. So I've taken it out and I've put it in a separate pot here along with a load of other little bits and pieces of root that ended up being cut off. Some of them might actually root down. I've just pegged them down, so hopefully some of them will root down. But if not, I've not lost anything really. I've got quite a few of them. And if we have a look at the back there, we've got more, some my Popey, which is, I can't remember what cross that one is now. I think it's Flava. I can't remember. I'll have to look them up. So yeah, go back here. Like I say, these are again some little Cobra Lilies that were sort of little plants off the main one. There were quite a few, so I've just put them in one pot for now while they develop and grow on a bit more. And as you can see for the Cobra Lilies, again, we've got some beautiful flowers coming. I really do like these flowers. They are really pretty. Here's some of the sundews. Now I've been keeping the sundews mostly in the garage over the winter when it's been frosty, just so they have a bit of a better start. I mean, they will survive the frost. They blacken and die back quite a bit and will often look really quite dead. But they will tend to survive. You will lose a few, but just keeping them a bit more frost free has actually helped. This set of plants actually was the ones I said had been, we're starting to get green fly clustering around the little unfurling leaves here. But these are now starting to produce their little bifurcated leaves. There's nice ones there. Again, this is another tray of Bonatiforms, most on this side. And then on this side is my Madagascariensis, with their little stakes that allow them to grow up. Now these have all but died back, but they should start to come back, and there's a bit of growth there. The camera focuses on that. And there's another one just in this pot, again, which has got to start to grow back. They're the sort of thing that you look like, it looks like you've killed them, but it's amazing how many of them will actually come back. And these again were protected from frost, but that one does tend to die back if it's cold. So hopefully they'll all come back. I think I lost a couple last year because they didn't, but most of them came back from the roots, and so, you know, with any luck they should do. Again, here's some of my slightly older seedlings. So some of the ones I've grown from my crosses at the back there. This is a nice rubra minor cross I've got. So it's got the really nice colouring of rubra, the veining, with a nice hood of minor. There's my little all green form of my purpurea, and there's some nice purpurea which are really red, so they're really nice ones. At some point I need to start again pricking these out. Main problem at the moment is actually lack of space. My Venus flytraps are still occupying a vast amount of the bench space here. I'm trying to get rid of some of them, but yeah, I've still got a lot to get rid of. And here's another tray of sundews. These are mostly alba in here, so the white form, which is really quite pretty. I quite like this one. And again, a few more sundews in here. Again, I'm hoping to get rid of a few of these. Perhaps there's some markets over the summer. Here's some of the seeds I planted last year in the greenhouse. Again, some ones I've crossed myself. Nothing as yet showing, but it's still a bit early. So these have been sort of naturally stratified in the cold. So they've been out here since, I think the label says end of January on those ones. So still it's pretty cold. So hopefully that's given them a good period of cold that they should start growing fairly soon. And again, some more Sarracenias from some seedlings I got, and again some really nice ones here, putting up some nice flowers. These are the first year they've actually flowered, so the first year they're actually big enough, so that's actually going to be quite nice. And some of these are really nice ones. There's some nice red coloured ones here, and some quite nice tall ones. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing the growth on these this year. And in fact, some of these, I mean, a lot of these were quite small last year, but now they've really shot off, and you can see there. This is a little 2.5 inch pot, but the growth there is really starting to fill up that pot. And there was one back there that I had to take out of 2.5 inch pot because it was just getting too big for it. So they're really starting to beef up their rhizomes here to some really nice plants. And again, some trays of little seedlings I've had for a couple of years now that gradually, as they start to get big, I prick a few more out. Again, I just don't have the space to prick all of them out, and because I'm not going to until they actually get to a size they're more handleable. And you do lose a few. Again, a few more of my seedlings, and some of my nice, again, some bigger ones are the purpurea, which I really like. So that's the sort of thing that's happening in the greenhouse now. So like I say, now is an ideal time to start tidying up your plants from winter. Like I say, these are a bit more tidying up. Again, it's an ideal time that just to check them over, make sure they're ready for the summer, give them a bit of a haircut, pull out any old leaves just to, again, open up that rhizome to get a bit of air in there, just check there's no mould or botrytis going through, and also take the opportunity to actually do a bit of division. So ones like this, for example, there would be an ideal place to basically take that piece off as a cut, and then you'll have two really nice plants there. And basically that's what I've been doing, hence why I've actually got so many of them. In fact, I've got another tray of Flavolata red lids. I think that is an entire tray of Flavolata red lids under there, that I think I split from two big pots. They were probably 9-inch pots, or maybe a little bit smaller, but it just shows how readily they will cut and split up. And some of these are really starting to put some nice new growth on, so I'm really pleased about that. That is actually one of my favourite, my Flavolata red lid. If anyone's interested and lives in the UK, I am actually trying to get rid of some of these plants on eBay. I'll leave a link to the listings in the description. Obviously, depending on when you watch this, they may not all still be up. But like I see, I've got way too many plants than I really could do with doing, or I really have. Again, there's another tray of Venus flytraps down there. Again, I'm trying to get rid of. But yeah, I don't need as many pitcher plants as I got, even though I love them. So yeah, if you're interested, go and have a look and bid on some of them. And yeah, if you want to see what they're like, I've tried to put pictures with the listings, but you can always check out some of my previous videos if you want to have a look. So I hope you've enjoyed that quick whiz round the greenhouse, just to see what things are looking like. I think it's going to be a fantastic year this year. There are so many flowers coming. I mean, this place was just in about 2-3 weeks time, it will be just awash with flowers that looks so stunning. So I'll probably do another video then, just so you can see what it looks like. But last year it was just beautiful. They really are nice plants. So yeah, thank you for watching. Oh, actually, just before I go, I'm just going to nip down to the patio and we'll have a look at the bog planter I did last year. Back in a moment. So welcome back. So here's the bog planter I did about a year ago. Again, I'll leave a link to that video. This has done pretty well actually. This has obviously been out all winter, so it's been exposed to all the frosts. And the wind and everything. The wind was more of a problem than actually the frosts. The Venus flytraps are looking a bit worse for wear, but they'll come back. Yeah, they're starting to put some nice new growth on, so that's not really a problem. I've been cleaning up a few of the black end leaves here, just pulling them off carefully, trying not to pull the actual plants out, just to tie them up so they've got a new growth. The sundews, not looking good at the moment. This was just Capensis, and there was an alba over there. They're not looking great at the moment. Hopefully they'll come back. They might come out from the roots. If not, I'll just put something else in there, put another one in there, doesn't really matter. Little Purpurea is looking really nice. Again, she does really well outside in the frost and everything, so that's nice. Some of my taller ones there. There's Orophelia, and she's starting to put some nice new growth on. There's a Mori back there that's starting to put a nice flower on and everything. And I've been trimming these back gradually as well. And again, Githatipsopa back here on this side. It's looking pretty good. Again, I've trimmed the back, tied up a bit of it, and I'll tidy up a bit more when the new growth starts to come through. And as you can see here, this one's starting to put a flower up. That one looks like it's actually been a little bit got by the frost there. Like I say, there's been a few late frosts after some actually quite warm days. It encourages them, the warm days encourages them to actually start growing, but then the late frost can just nip them off a bit, and that, unfortunately, that shoot will die back and die off. But it's just the way it is. It's going to happen in nature as well. I think this is looking really quite nice and working really quite well. It did get a bit waterlogged just towards the end of the season, so actually I used the watering hole I've got back here, and I put a bit of hose in and I actually siphoned out the water just to drop the water level, because actually at one point the pitcher plants were pretty much up to their neck in water. But other than that, they survive really nicely. I'm looking forward to what they're going to look like this year. Hope you enjoyed this quick tour around the greenhouse and the bog planter, and I'll do some more videos as things start to grow a bit more. So thank you for watching.